A person can die simply because they believe they are dying, even when nothing is physically wrong. It sounds impossible, but the human mind is far more powerful and far more dangerous than most people realize. We often hear about the placebo effect as something positive. A patient takes a sugar pill, believes it will help them, and somehow their symptoms improve anyway. Pain decreases, anxiety softens. The body responds despite there being no active medicine at all. For years, scientists have studied this phenomenon with fascination, because somehow belief alone can change physical experience. But there's another side to this story, a darker side, one that most people rarely talk about. It's called the nocebo effect, and it reveals something deeply unsettling about the human mind. Because just as belief can heal, belief can also harm. In some medical studies, patients who were warned about possible side effects began experiencing them, even when they had received harmless placebo treatments. People developed headaches, nausea, pain, dizziness. Real physical symptoms triggered by expectation alone. Not imagination, not pretending. Their bodies genuinely reacted. Think about that for a second. The brain can create suffering simply because it expects suffering to happen. One famous case became almost legendary in psychology. A man participating in a medical trial became convinced he had overdosed on medication. Panicked and terrified, he collapsed. His blood pressure dropped dangerously low, he became pale, weak, barely responsive. Doctors feared for his life. But there was one problem. The pills he had taken were placebos. They contained no active drug at all. Nothing inside them should have harmed him, and yet his body reacted as though he were dying. Only after doctors explained the truth, that the pills were harmless, did his condition rapidly improve. His belief alone had pushed his body into crisis, and his belief alone brought him back out. The mind is not separate from the body. They are constantly communicating. Every thought, every fear, every expectation sends signals through the nervous system, and your brain is always listening. If you believe something is dangerous, your body responds. Heart rate changes, stress hormones rise, muscles tighten, breathing shifts, attention narrows. Your entire system begins preparing for threat, even if the threat itself isn't real. And once you start noticing this, you begin seeing it everywhere. A person reads about symptoms online and suddenly begins feeling them. Someone becomes convinced stress is destroying their health and their body deteriorates under constant anxiety. A harmless sensation becomes terrifying because the mind gives it meaning. Expectation becomes experience. But perhaps the strangest part is that the brain doesn't always distinguish clearly between imagination and reality. Studies using brain scans have shown that imagined experiences can activate many of the same neural pathways as real ones. Your body reacts not only to what is happening, but to what you believe is happening. And that raises a disturbing possibility. How much of human suffering is amplified or even created by expectation? This doesn't mean illness isn't real or pain isn't real. It is, very real. But the mind may play a far greater role in physical experience than we are comfortable admitting. The placebo effect reveals the healing power of belief. The nocebo effect reveals the destructive power of belief. And together, they suggest something extraordinary. Human beings do not experience reality objectively. We experience reality through interpretation, through expectation, through meaning. Two people can live through the same event and experience it completely differently. Because the brain is never simply observing reality, it is shaping it, constantly. And once you realize that, you begin to understand something unsettling. Your thoughts are not always harmless. The stories you repeat internally matter. The expectations you feed matter. Because your brain is always listening. And sometimes, what the mind believes, the body follows. Maybe the placebo effect was never the strange phenomenon. Maybe what's truly strange is how little we understand about the relationship between consciousness, belief, and reality itself.